Hi guys, we're back again. Career Nuggets with Jay. Like I've been trying to fix this lighting. There seems to be some kind of shadow cast. But anyway, guys, we keep moving. So yes, the last session I had, I talked to you about defining the skill set. So this session, two things: you're going to identify stakeholders, and then you're going to build support. Now, some of the things I'm sharing with you guys on, navigating management or getting to management, I literally just deconstructed how I got my first management role. And that's really what I'm sharing with you. And I'm saying, there's no one straight journey, but you could learn from it. And I'm hoping some of these ideas can help you. So first, identify your stakeholders. If a decision needs to be made for you to be in management, who's going to be in the room? Who are those going to call the shots or influence that decision? Those are your stakeholders. HR, probably your boss, people in leadership or management, probably your boss's colleagues. I'm hoping your boss is the manager or a manager. Sometimes in some organization, depending on the role you're playing, the client. In my case, the client was a stakeholder. They would normally check the candidate with the client and this is a candidate that's coming to manage this, and if the client says, oh, sorry, we can't work with them, sometimes that could kind of skew the decision, maybe not fully call the shots, but it's always easier if the client feels like you're highly recommends you, or feels like you're a very good candidate to work with. So you're going to identify the stakeholders, because remember we said you're going to build our elevator pitch. These are the people you're going to nicely pitch this, give those speeches to. And we'll talk about how you do that. But you first identify them for the organization you work or where you're going. And the second thing, you got to build support. It's not going to be an easy journey. Sometimes you need people that can be rooting for you, promoting you. Some people call them evangelists. Now, I see them in twofold. So they are like the mentors and your allies. Allies are like your colleagues, friends in the office. They're like really pushing your agenda in terms of oh, she did a good work, Jane does, talking about your good work. And your mentors are those that really want to help you navigate. So they find time to share their experiences with you. You would need them because those are people you would check, when it's time for interview, when it's time to, understand the value you bring, or to, identify your strengths or your skill set. These are people you have those conversations with. Then secondly, we have the sponsors. Now, I put them under your support network, because even though most times you don't, like, sponsors for me are not people I literally have like a formal relationship, or informal, like you have your mentor. Sometimes they don't even talk to you, but there are people that have picked interest in the work you do because of what they've seen you do or where they see you trending. So you literally have to position yourself so that you get noticed in that way. Hope you're getting what I'm saying. A lot of this requires emotional intelligence. So you have to, check your environment and see what works. But sponsors sometimes never even tell you they're sponsoring you. But you just notice that they speak good for you, or they're trying to use their own power to give you access to say, hey, I think Jane could do this role, or I think Jane could take this opportunity. And when you hear of such people, I think you should make good use of those relationships by trying to make it even easier for them to promote your work. So if you have an opportunity to have time with them, share your success with them. So two things: you're going to learn to identify those stakeholders and literally build your support. Make it easier for sponsors to find you by doing great work and crafting it in a way that you can share your story or the value you bring. And secondly, your mentors and friends and ally, be aware of them. They are your evangelists. So whenever you do great work, you have these successes, make sure you find an avenue to share with them, because they are also promoting your agenda. Hope that helps. See you next time.